Midas and Dr. Noguchi were the only ones left as they entered the lab. Dr. Noguchi went straight over to a table that had samples of different metals on them. "Here, see if you can replicate this metal," the doctor said. Midas took the metal, and without effort he made a brick of it in his other hand. "Here you are. I have another harder test if you would care to try it." "Sure." Dr. Noguchi led him over to another table. She touched a few buttons, and a hologram of a complex part was projected onto the table. "Can you make that same steel fill out the hologram you see in front of you?" Midas still had the sample of metal in his hand. He felt its properties and created metal to fill in the hologram he saw in front of him. "There!" Dr. Noguchi quickly snatched up the part and placed it on another table. She started speaking voice commands to her computers in Japanese. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Checking tolerances." "Why?" "To see how accurate your work is." "Oh, is it any good?" Results came back and Dr. Noguchi tried to hide a smile. "It's perfect. You made it to exactly the dimensions of the hologram." "Good. Why is that so good?" "I've been talking to Shi about upgrading the materials the Sentinels are made of. It's an enormous task. My daughter was convinced that if I came up with the correct materials, you could make the parts." "Well, I can. Do you want to get started?" "You don't want to go see Tokyo?" "Sure I do, but I think we can get a lot done in a little amount of time. Besides, we can just do a few parts first, then see if there's something you want to change." Dr. Noguchi started saying things to her computer in Japanese at a high speed. "I would like to make skeletal structures for all 8. We always have spare parts, but we don't have room in the lab here for everything." Midas felt into the lab around him and into the earth that was outside the lab. "You have just dirt behind this wall. Can I expand your lab that way for spare parts? Can you reinforce it so it won't cave in?" Midas held up the steel sample she gave him. "I think I can." An hour later, Midas was filling the new storage hangar he made with parts she kept projecting by hologram. Near the end of making the skeleton parts, Midas duplicated each piece several times until 10 of each were made. "There, that should keep you busy. You don't know the years you just saved me." Dr. Noguchi looked at the piles of pieces. "You know, we do Saturday enrichments, so I guess this is mine. If you had Shogun call Connors, I bet I could come out here for a few more Saturdays and help you assemble this. Maybe make some thicker nano armor for the outside or nano batteries for the weapons." Dr. Noguchi's head was swimming with possibilities. "I think that is enough for today. Call Virtuoso to come get you, and I'm sure I will be getting you to come out here for a few more Saturdays. I just need to come up with new plans for the Sentinels. If I have all these options, I need to evaluate what steps to take next." Midas quickly made a call to Virtuoso and then spoke to Dr. Noguchi again. "I'm really happy I could help. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing as a superhero, but stuff like this is easy." "Well, you have no idea how helpful it is to me," Dr. Noguchi said as sincere as she could. Virtuoso teleported in wearing a different dress than the one she had left in. "Come on quick or someone will see on the other side. Goodbye, Dr. Noguchi." "Bye," Midas said quick. "Goodbye," Dr. Noguchi said as they disappeared. Midas found himself with Virtuoso standing in some type of closet with hangers of clothes on the walls. "Where is this?" he asked. "Go out that door," Virtuoso said and pointed. Midas stepped out of the door and Virtuoso closed it behind him. She and the other girls were laughing when Midas stepped out. "What were you doing in the women's changing room?" Bioforce said with a laugh. "Ha ha, very funny. Midas was teleported into a girl's dressing room. Where are the boys?" "Eating again." "How can they be hungry? This is just nuts. Is there an arcade or something around here?" "We have the arcade here." "Let me show him where it is. I'll be back soon." She led Midas out of the clothing store. "Were you able to help my mother?" Midas told her what was done, and she was pleased that her mother was pleased. She led Midas into a video arcade like no other. The foreign writing on the games somehow made sense in his head. Midas thought he would keep that fact to himself. "Wow, this place is cool," he said. "Do you have any yen?" No, I don't have any money at all." She shook her head. "Here, this should last you all day and then some." She stuffed loads of paper money into his hand he didn't recognize. "I can't take your money. You just did a few billion yens worth of work for my mother. I think she'll be happy to reimburse me. Just out of curiosity, why didn't you bring any money with you?" "I didn't bring any money to Alpha. I didn't think we would ever go off campus." "Okay, use your earpiece to let the other boys know where you're at." I'm going to get back to shopping. Have fun buying things you can't wear at Alpha, Midas said to her as she left. Don't spoil my fun, she shot back. Midas let the others know where he was and was soon joined by the rest of the boys. Hours passed as they had fun playing. The girls eventually found them and with Inferno's help got them off the video games. On the streets, she walked them through the center of Tokyo. She pointed out the landmarks and explained what the big buildings around them were used for. Eventually, she led them into the heart of the electronics world. She told them they were going into the places where the newest things were showcased and sometimes can be bought. After they had seen what gadgets would be available to the world next year, the group moved on. She brought them into an alley of vendors that sold food and souvenirs. There, the Alphas bought more things to add to the pile of world shopping they had already done. What time is it? Olympian asked. 15:30 local time. 16:30 Alpha time, she answered. Almost time to get going to Crete. I can't wait for my mother's cooking. Are you kidding me? You haven't waited for anything, Midas said. Like I said, I can't wait. Did you notice anything different about my city? She asked Olympian. It's filled with Japanese? Not that. No knife-wielding thugs. We have one of the lowest crime rates in the modern world. Oh, please, that kid barely rated thug, Olympian scoffed. Inferno, who tried to be quiet and just shadow his students, spoke up. Maybe we should check in with your father before we leave Tokyo. That would probably be a good idea, she answered. Darkspeed, we need to find a place to port from. She started talking into her earpiece to let Shogun know they were coming. Darkspeed blinked away and back to the place he was standing. There's a service alley a half a block from here that no one's in right now. The group followed Darkspeed and found themselves back at the Tokyo Hall. Shogun was still in his situation room. Did you all have a good time seeing the city? Shogun asked. We did. Your city moves very fast and has a lot to do, Darkspeed said for his team. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Olympian, I had your brother Achilles on the vid phone earlier asking him about the paper he wrote. He remembered it like he just wrote it. He's exceptional. Brain intelligence, hitter strength, and the ability to lead. Make sure you tell your brother we're working hard to put his theories to the test. I will. I'm sure he'll be pleased to hear it, Olympian said. Call us if there's anything we can do, Inferno said. If I think there is anything you can do, I will be sure to call. Until then, we prepare and play the waiting game. Shogun took his daughter by the hand. Excuse us. Shogun took the time to tell his daughter how proud he was of the effort she was putting in at Alpha. Once the group was back at the Bishaman base, Dr. Noguchi quickly found the group to say goodbye. She promised Midas that she would get a Saturday enrichment for giant robot construction. The Alphas grabbed all their bags and gathered around Virtuoso and were off to Greece. The group appeared on a path in the midst of a wooded area. The air was warm and the sun was still rising. Are we in the right spot? Midas asked Virtuoso. This is the place, right, Olympian? Virtuoso asked. With this many people teleporting in or anyone flying in, we use this patch of trees. It's not far to the house from here, Olympian said. I'll race you there, Darkspeed said playfully. What did I just say? Our neighbors are suspicious already. My father would not be happy if we drew too much attention. Like giant sandcastles? Darkspeed asked. Or flying boats? Saber added. Yes, like all those things, Olympian said. As they neared a large old farm, the group started to see dark-haired children running and playing. Olympian started calling to the children in Greek. They all turned and ran to him like a flock. What did he say? Midas asked. Cousins, come say hello, Darkspeed said. You speak Greek? My mom taught me. Your mother's Greek? Midas asked. Darkspeed shook his head no. She teaches Sunday school, and I learned the Bible in Greek. Therefore, all the children, me included, learned it in Greek. Greeks had the first Bible in church, Olympian said. I thought the Catholics had the first church, Bioforce said. Not true, the Greeks did. We had everything first, Olympian said with pride. The Islamic Empire invented soap. You don't hear me reminding everyone at bath time, Saber said. That would ask the question, do the boys use soap? Virtuoso said. Hey now, Darkspeed said. The children were upon them. Olympian was quick to pick up his younger cousins and introduce them to everyone. The group continued walking until they came closer to the house and saw the adults gathered outside. Olympian! Mr. Farakis said loud like Olympian would.